Davis, South Carolina. Thank you so much for joining us. All right, we want to bring in David Hansen now, senior fellow at the Hoover Institution, one of the smartest people on the planet. Victor, you heard this. What's your take on what the president did there from the White House?
Well, it was pretty rich, because this case would have never got to the Supreme Court had his own Department of Justice not appointed a special counsel that had a history of bias and went after the leading presidential opposition candidate for the president. And it wouldn't have come to the Supreme Court had Fani Willis not met with a White House counsel to coordinate a defense strategy in Georgia, a prosecution strategy in Georgia. And it wouldn't have happened if the third highest ranking federal attorney in Merrick Garland's DOJ had not suddenly appeared at Alvin Bragg's prosecution. And so this was in response to the weaponization of the DOJ by none other than Joe Biden. Second, it's very ironic, Jason, because you see the special counsel, Robert Hur, said that Joe Biden himself, while he was president, faced criminal liability. He had classified files, which is a felony to be in his possession. He didn't notify anybody that he had them until he selected the special counsel to go after Donald Trump. And then he had a speechwriter that had no security clearance that admittedly was looking at those files in the presence of Joe Biden. The only reason he wasn't prosecuted was Robert Hur determined that he was too enfeebled and would win the sympathy of a jury. And you know, finally, they have been going after the Supreme Court. Chuck Schumer went out to the doors of the Supreme Court and called out by name Justice Gorsuch and Kavanaugh and said, "You're going to reap the whirlwind. You don't know what's going to hit you." And then when protesters a year later started showing up, including a potential assassin, at the homes of the justices, Merrick Garland didn't enforce the law, which was a felony to do that for political purposes, to influence the Supreme Court decision. So this was very tragic what Joe Biden just did. It was ironic, it was wrong, and it was highly partisan, and it's dangerous.
I think I would agree with all of that. It is tragic because we need a Supreme Court with its independence, and the Democrats are doing everything they can to make them dependent on whatever the political whim of the party in power is, and it's just disgusting. But Democrats have run out of things to run. They can't run on the economy. They can't run on the border. They can't run on the, protecting us overseas and all these wars that are going on. The mental and physical demise of Joe Biden is on display. So they're going to pick, I guess, the Supreme Court. But a 6-3 ruling in this particular case is pretty convincing, 6-3.
Yeah, well, especially when you see what they've done to Donald Trump and what they'll do to him again when he's probably going to be elected. And again, the irony is that Joe Biden violated his oath of office when he destroyed the southern border and allowed 10 million people illegally to enter the United States. There's a lot of people who felt that that was a violation of the oath of office. As I said earlier, he broke the law when he had in his possession as president classified file.
David Hansen, thanks so much for joining us. I want to quickly bring in Ned